In the heart of a small town in the USA, nestled between the whispers of history and the weight of secrets, stood an unassuming hostel. Its brick facade was weathered by time, and the old wooden sign creaked softly in the wind, reading "Welcome." Guests often spoke of its charm, but those who dared to stay in room 105 felt an unsettling aura that seemed to breathe down their necks, as if the very walls were alive with stories long forgotten. As I entered the dimly lit room, a chill crept down my spine. The air was thick with an eerie silence, wrapping around me like a shroud. The faint scent of decay lingered in the air, a reminder of the secrets this room held. The wallpaper, once vibrant, was peeling away, revealing a layer of darkness underneath, as if it were trying to hide something sinister. I hesitated before stepping inside. Why did I agree to stay here? I whispered to myself. It was just a place to rest, I told myself, but something about room 105 felt different, as though it were watching me, waiting for me to unravel its mysteries. As night fell, shadows began to dance along the walls, morphing into shapes that flickered at the edge of my vision. I turned my attention to the small window, its glass fogged with the breath of the night. The moonlight seeped in, illuminating the room in a ghostly glow, casting long, distorted shadows that twisted and turned as I moved. Suddenly, a soft knock echoed from the door. My heart raced, and I held my breath. "Who's there?" I called out, my voice barely above a whisper, trembling with uncertainty. Silence enveloped me, and I strained to listen, hoping for a response. Instead, I heard the faint sound of footsteps, slow and deliberate, echoing in the hallway outside. "Maybe it's just the wind," I muttered, attempting to reassure myself, but the footsteps grew louder, halting right outside my door. "Hello? Is anyone there?" I called out again, fear creeping into my voice. The door creaked open slightly, and I gasped, staring into the darkness that loomed beyond. "Who are you?" I demanded, feeling the cold seep into my bones. The room seemed to pulse with an unseen energy, and a soft whisper floated through the air, chilling me to the core. "Help me." The voice was barely audible, yet pierced the silence like a knife, sending shivers down my spine. I stood frozen, fear rooting me in place, as the whispered plea echoed in my mind. "Who needs help?" I shouted, desperation edging my voice. No answer came, just the sound of my own racing heartbeat. Gathering my courage, I stepped toward the door and flung it wide open, my breath hitching as I peered into the empty hallway. The air grew heavy with a sense of dread, and I took a cautious step forward, calling out into the darkness, "Is anyone there?" But the hallway remained silent, stretching into an abyss of shadows. I could feel the walls closing in around me, and the temperature dropped, as if the very spirit of the hostel was drawing closer. I retreated back into room 105, the door creaking ominously as I shut it behind me. My heart pounded in my chest, and I tried to shake off the unsettling feeling that clung to me like a second skin. Reaching for my phone, I attempted to call the front desk, but as I pressed the button, the screen flickered and went black. Panic surged through me, a wave of terror crashing over my senses. "No, no," I exclaimed, slamming the phone down on the bed in frustration. Then, the lights above flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced wildly around the room, morphing into grotesque shapes. My breath quickened as the whisper returned, stronger this time. "Help me, please." My skin prickled with fear, and the urge to flee gripped me like a vice. "What do you want?" I shouted, the desperation in my voice palpable, echoing against the walls. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the corner of the room, shrouded in darkness. I couldn't make out any features, just the outline of a person standing there, watching me. "Help me," it repeated, its voice echoing with an otherworldly resonance that sent a chill down my spine. "Who are you?" I demanded, my heart racing, trying to back away, but feeling as though the walls were closing in around me. The figure stepped closer, and I could feel a heavy weight in the air, as if the room itself was pressing against me. "I am trapped in this room," the figure whispered, its voice trembling with despair. "You must help me escape." My mind raced. What could I possibly do? "How? How can I help you?" I asked, my voice trembling. "Find the key," it said, pointing toward the old wooden dresser in the corner. "It holds the answer." I approached the dresser cautiously, my hands shaking as I opened the drawers one by one, each creaking sound echoing in the silence. Nothing but dust and forgotten trinkets lay inside. The whisper grew louder, more urgent. "Faster!" You must hurry. Just then, a cold breeze swept through the room, sending a shiver down my spine. The lights flickered again, and the temperature plummeted, causing my breath to fog in front of me. I turned back to the figure, now closer than before. I can't find anything, I shouted, panic rising in my chest. Look deeper. Look for what is hidden. The voice was now a desperate plea, a mix of anguish and fear. I felt the air thicken around me, the pressure building as if the room itself was alive with anger and sorrow. With renewed determination, I searched the dresser more thoroughly, moving aside old clothes and forgotten items. Suddenly, I felt something cold and metallic against my fingers. I pulled out an old, rusted key, its surface engraved with intricate designs that seemed to shimmer in the dim light. Is this it? I shouted, holding it up for the figure to see. Yes, now hurry, it urged, its voice filled with an intensity that made my skin crawl. I ran to the door, my heart pounding as I inserted the key into the lock. It turned with a heavy click, and I flung the door open, revealing a darkness that seemed to swallow the light. But just as I stepped through, the figure reached out, its hand brushing against mine. A surge of energy coursed through me, and I felt an overwhelming sense of dread wash over me. No! Don't leave me, it screamed, the sound reverberating in my mind, filled with a pain that echoed through the very fabric of reality. I stumbled backward, the door slamming shut behind me with a resounding thud. The darkness pressed in on all sides, and I felt the walls closing in again, the weight of despair suffocating me. You can't escape, the voice shrieked, a chorus of anguish echoing in the depths of my soul. I fought to breathe, my chest tightening as I realized the truth. Room 105 was not just a room. It was a prison, a vessel of pain and sorrow, and I had awakened something that should have remained buried. I turned to run, my heart racing, desperately searching for a way out. But as I raced down the hallway, the whispers grew louder, filling my mind with a cacophony of voices pleading for help, trapped souls begging for release. Help us! Don't leave us here! Their cries echoed in my ears, a haunting reminder of the despair that lingered in the shadows of the hostel. I reached the front desk, my hands trembling as I pounded on the counter. I need to leave. I can't stay here any longer. The receptionist looked at me with a mixture of concern and disbelief. Are you all right? She asked, her voice laced with uncertainty. No, I'm not all right. There's something in room 105. I gasped, the words tumbling from my lips in a rush. It's haunted. You have to believe me. The receptionist's expression shifted, a flicker of recognition passing across her face. Room 105, we've had complaints before, she murmured, her gaze drifting to the floor. But I can't say much. It's against policy to discuss guest issues. Please. Please, I pleaded, my voice breaking. I can't go back in there. Can't go back in there. She hesitated, glancing at the door leading to the rooms. I'll call the manager, she said reluctantly, picking up the phone. I could hear the faint ringing in the background, but all I could think about was the voices, the despair echoing in my mind. As the phone rang, I felt a cold breeze sweep through the lobby and the lights flickered ominously. I turned to look back at the hallway leading to room 105, my heart racing. Please, hurry, I begged. I can't stay here. Just then, the door swung open and a tall figure emerged, cloaked in darkness. You can't escape me, it growled, its voice a low rumble that sent chills down my spine. The receptionist gasped, dropping the phone as the figure advanced toward me. I turned to run, fear propelling me forward, but the whispers grew louder, drowning out my thoughts. Help us! Don't leave us, they cried, a haunting chorus that tugged at my heart. I dashed toward the exit, my breath coming in ragged gasps as the darkness chased me, the figure lurking just behind. I burst through the front door and into the cool night air, my heart pounding as I raced away from the hostel, leaving behind the horrors of room 105. But even as I escaped, the whispers lingered in my mind, a constant reminder of the souls trapped within those walls, forever searching for help.